What's up guys? So here in front of me I've got my RB25 block. It's finally back from the machine shop. They did a few things for me. They decked it flat with a deck plate I gave them that put it under load so that when they bore it out it won't be out around once I torque the head on in the final assembly. So that deck plate simulates the loads of the heads on the block. Another thing they did for me was obviously bore it and then hone it. They overbored it 0.5 millimeter more than OEM, or about around there, just to get the right clearances on my new oversized pistons. These are 86.5 millimeters. Stock is 86 millimeters. Now these forged pistons come in a kit that I bought for the engine to stroke it to 2.8 liters. So that's a Tomai kit, meant for an RB26, but these engines are close enough that I can throw it in the RB25 no problem. So that kit came with the forged pistons, forged H-beam rods, and then the forged crank, of course. And that's a 8-weight crank from Tomai, and that just means it's got 8 counterweights. Weighs about 20 kilograms, which is few kilograms lighter than stock, I believe. And one other thing I had him do was tap the oil galley channels, and I'll show you that in a bit in more detail. Now, before I assemble the engine, there's a few things I got to do. I have to check clearances on everything, so that includes the main bearings, the rod bearings, the front end play of the crank, which is how much it can move back and forth along the engine actually, and then I have to make a few modifications to the block itself. That would include the oil restrictors on top, reducing them to I'm going to go with 1.3 millimeters. That's what's recommended by PRP, which is Platinum Racing Products. They're kind of the go-to for RBs in this day and age. And so I'll just hammer those in, restrict those a little more, get less oil going into the head, hopefully reduce starvation in the bottom end and avoid spinning my bearings. I got a couple more things I'm going to do to try to prevent that, that I'll get to later. So that needs to be done. And then on the bottom, I need to cut away the very bottom of the bore itself to make clearance for the stroker, so that the rods don't hit the bottom of the bore, which would be a no good, very bad day. And I'll show you what that's going to look like here in a bit, and I'm going to take you through and show you some of these parts in details and some of the things I'm finding along the way especially trying to put this in a RB25. As you can see, it's still leaking some rust, so this is from the coolant channels, and I'm just trying to get all these out of there before I put it together. I'll probably run a coolant filter maybe for the first few hundred miles or so at least, just to make sure I catch any of this stuff. And I'll use a clear one so I can always check it and make sure it doesn't get clogged, but it's just the coolant channel, so it's not as crucial as if the oil channels were all rusting up and flaking like this, but that should be fine, and I'll try to get it as clean as I can. All right, guys, so now we're going to do the bearing clearances, or at least see how they're looking with the standard size ACL bearings I got. Hopefully I don't have to mix and match and buy a bunch of different sizes, but we'll see how these ones turn out and go from there. So I'm going to start with the main bearings, get those checked out, and then once those are installed with some lube, I'll be able to rotate the crank and check each of the conrod bearings out and see how those measure up to the suggested clearances. We've got our build sheet with nothing on it, ready to go. So to measure the clearances, I'm going to be using Plasti gauge. I don't have any of the tools to measure it another way. This is pretty reliable, and you don't need calibrated tools. Going with the green color, just because of the clearance range is within the ranges I'm expecting. The other color is too big. So this is what I'm going to go with, and it's my first time using it, so if I do something stupid, I guess I'm just going to lose a bunch of money. So my starting point is ACL Race Series bearings with the standard clearance. That's part number. It's for an RB26, the standard clearance. So fingers crossed it's the clearance I want, but we'll see.
Stuck in time. Love, let me go, cause I've been holding on for far too long. I've been fighting and keeping strong. Now you just gotta let me go. Time, wash away every feeling that can cause me pain. All these memories I can't escape. Can you let them all wash away? Let it all wash away, cause I don't wanna feel the pain. Love, just let me go, cause I don't wanna feel the pain of holding on and keeping strong. So now I'm moving on. I don't wanna feel the same, so love, just let me go. Guess I didn't know it would end this way. One drink too much and I could see your face. Why did I let you go? How could I let you leave? Will I ever see you? And do you think of me? Love, let me go, cause I've been holding on for far too long. I've been fighting and keeping strong. Now you just gotta let me go. Time, wash away every feeling that can cause me pain. All these memories I can't escape. Can you let them all wash away? Let it all wash away, cause I don't wanna feel the pain. Love, just let me go, cause I don't wanna feel the pain of holding on and keeping strong. So now I'm moving on. I don't wanna feel the same, so love, just let me go.
Alright, so here's the piston oil squirter, or as the factory service manual calls it, the oil jet. And here's the bolt that holds it in, like so. And the way these bolts work is there's a check valve in them. So there's a little spring, and when the pressure, when there's enough oil pressure, it actually moves that piece out of the way, the little check valve, and the oil can escape past this hole. And then it enters this open area and can make its way through that little hole and then out this little squirter hole. And this sits in the block on the bottom of the bore, and this extends out and squirts the bottom of the piston as it's moving up and down. Now, the factory service manual recommends that whenever you take these out, you just check to make sure they all move freely with moderate resistance, like oil pressure would be moving it, and this seems fine. So I'll check every one, make sure they're good, and I'm going to be reusing them with the stroker kit, and Tomai included these little spacers that'll just push them just enough. Sorry, that's the wrong way. Oh, like so. So it's just spaced a little bit off the block and gets a little farther away from the piston that's got a little more stroke on it. And so that's how that works. Okay, let's see how they came out. There we go. It's kind of in focus. White balance a little off, but it's kind of hard to see even outside of the camera. So you can see the stripes. That one came off with the bearing a little bit, but they're not all straight. It's my fault for not having straight pieces on there. But they look fairly uniform thickness down the entire length of it on each of them.